Hey everyone, we are really excited that you're here. We're going to do these weekly Zooms every week, Tuesday morning. It's 9 a.m. Pacific, 10 Mountain Standard, 11 Central, and 12 o'clock Eastern.
I'm impressed. Good job getting all that right.
So we will have these recorded. We're going to keep them short and sweet, about 20 minutes, and just bring value to you guys every week, give you ideas on how to boost your business and how we can just all work together as a team to throw our ideas together. And it's recorded and uploaded to allthingstorybell.com. If you guys haven't been there yet, make sure you go check that out. On allthingstorybell.com, we have the training playbacks, so you guys can go get caught up. If you catch us live, we love it. If you can't quite catch us live, then just go catch the training playback. And we are going to start uploading these to a podcast. So we have that link there as well. You guys can go allthingstorybell.com, and there is the podcast link that you can click to just get the audio. So if you're driving in your car down the road, that's a perfect way to do it. Cleaning your house, just go ahead and turn it on and you'll be able to hear what we had to say that week. So let's go ahead and get started. This week, we are going to talk about the exciting Canada launch, which is happening in April.
Yay!
So exciting. So April is the estimated launch time. They don't have an exact date. I don't know that they ever really do, just because things can come up. We had a leader call with Jennifer Harmon and Matt Cooley, who is working full-time to get us into other countries. And if you guys don't know who Matt was, he actually came from another big organization, and he was hired on about 2 months ago, and just to focus on this, which is super exciting. And to me, that just is another thing that I'm like, Lara is putting and investing all of her money into the right places. I won't say all of her money into all of the right places. And it just gets me just excited to she's just consistently doing that. So anyway, that's super exciting. Really, it's just great for the business and all of us and everything. So that is coming up. Estimated time is April. Now, what we need to do to get ready for that, recruiting. Recruit, you guys. It's super important to get on it now. So the first step is to just think about who you know in Canada, who might have connections in Canada. Reach out to them, let them know about this opportunity. You don't ever want to have somebody be like, hey, how come you didn't tell me? Just blast it out there. Go, have confidence. Start to let people know. You can add them into the opportunity group. We're doing better about talking more about Canada, just because that's the next exciting recruiting that's coming up and all of that. So we've got the Highlight Real Opportunity group that you can add them to. And we'll talk about kind of what was talked about in that leader call. Excuse me, some frequently asked questions and what they talked about. Let us know. And then we'll talk about some ideas on how you guys can recruit at the end here. So let's get started. The first thing is that one thing that we wanted to mention, and Jeanette, you can expound on this, but they said don't plan on being in Quebec.
Yeah, so in Quebec, they actually speak French. And so we're mainly focusing on English-speaking countries, even beyond Canada, because it's just easier, and we're not fully prepared to translate everything into other languages quite yet. So Quebec is not necessarily going to be, I would never say never, but it's certainly not going to be in the first launch of Canada. And each province, just like, in the United States, we're broken up into states. Canada, they're broken up by provinces, and they're governed separately, but as a whole country, work together, and we just have to get into each province separately. So even as we launch, each province might have happen at a little bit different time frames. They might not, but we don't know that yet. It's just very complex. So we will know more as they know more.
Right. Okay. Will there be a founders program for Canada?
Yes. You want me to answer the question?
I'll ask you.
There will be.
Yes. And you guys, so the Founders Program, what is that? So those of us that got in right at the beginning, the pre-launch stage, we were known as founders. What is a founder? Just that title. The title basically just to say that you've really started this project from the very, very beginning, going through all the hurdles and everything that we've experienced so far up to this point. You know, and as time goes on, being a founder, that title becomes more and more valuable. Mm-hmm. So it's really exciting. So make sure when you guys are recruiting and talking to people about the opportunity that they know that they could be a founder for the program for Canada. Will there be Canadians direct to corporate?
Yes. So just like we had here in the US, they will have, you know, people can apply to be direct to corporate. Do you want to talk about the stipulation?
Right. Yeah, so anybody can come in direct to corporate, even in the US, Canada, and I'm sure that's how they'll just continue to do this. If somebody wants to be direct to corporate, okay, that title is you have access to corporate at any time, right? Because you don't have an upline. You know, if you have, 4 or 5, 7 levels deep from corporate, you have to follow the what is it? What word am I trying to think of?
Well, like the genealogy or
you have to reach up to and has access to corporate, right? The company does that for a reason, right? To just make sure, because there's questions that we can answer for you guys, so they don't get bombarded with the same questions every day, right? Okay, so anybody can come into the company and be direct to corporate for 30 days. After 30 days, if that person has not hit the rank of influencer, then they automatically get moved under somebody, and that is a lottery, and it's whoever is the rank of, I believe
it's micro.
Then it just lottery gets placed under. So they're called Annies type of thing. So anyway, that's that. If you guys have any questions, make sure you comment. We will look at the chat when we're done and make sure that we answer all of your questions to the best of our knowledge. And if we don't know the answer, we'll go figure it out and come back and tell you next week. So Canada, US, cross-border sponsor and sell. What do they mean by that?
So typically, or at least past experience with other direct selling companies, we've had what's called a cross-border sponsorship, where you have to pay a fee basically to be able to sell over in Canada. We'll use Canada since that's what we're talking about, or to recruit. But we do not have that. There is no cross-border sponsorship fee. So you will be able to recruit in Canada without an extra fee. You will be able to sell in Canada, which we can actually already do now. But then vice versa, if a Canadian has friends in the US, then they can also recruit and sell. So that is cross-border sponsorship. It just doesn't exist, the fee. So
okay. And then will this impact commissions?
So really the only difference with commissions is the value of the Canadian dollar versus the US dollar. It will be equally the same, or the same commission, but it'll just be in their dollar amount. Hopefully that just makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. All products will be available when they launch. As much, everything that we have here in the US, they will be able to sell in Canada. Affiliate kits will be the same, and the comp plan is the same, just for is US to Canadian. It's different. But it all comes out in the wash the same, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Okay. We will be shipping out of Seattle into Canada. And hey, Tia just asked that question. Shipping in Canada, yes. So that was our next thing. Shipping out of Seattle into Canada. And then for returns, Johnette, why don't you talk about that?
So right now they are planning to have a return center within Canada. So any Canadian that receives product from the US, from the Seattle warehouse, they will not have to ship back to the US. They will be able to ship to a location in Canada. Eventually, if we're growing like we're growing here, there is always a possibility that we could have a shipping warehouse in Canada. Okay, Katie's got a question. So there may be possibility of being charged duties and taxes since the product is coming from the US. That's one of the things they're working on right now, Katie, is to not have people pay duties. And part of us being in Canada or affiliates being in Canada is that will go away. So it's just a very complex launch. So that is one of the things they're working on, so that the duties and taxes are not having to be paid from the US. Hopefully that made sense.
Okay, cool. All right, so that was basically all they covered in this leader call. But what we want to talk about next is the how, okay? How to reach out to people, what are the steps, what are things that we need to do? These are just some ideas that Johnette and I came up with. If you guys have any ideas, be sure to drop them in the chat. We will mention them, and let's all work together on this and get creative. Okay, so like what we talked about at the first.
Before you start talking about, Mindy, I want to stress the importance of, you cannot recruit or actually sign people up now. You have to wait until launch. There are a lot of rules when it comes to the FTC, and we do not want to jeopardize our launch in any way. So you cannot have anything traceable of a team. Like, you can't have a tree already made out. But when Mindy starts talking about the steps to take in recruiting, make sure that you're going to send them to the pre-registration link, and they can put in your email if they intend to sign up under you. And if they have people that are going to sign up under them, they would put their email. So just want to preface all of this with, do not start recruiting, but start sharing the opportunity and going through the right steps, and that's all.
I like that. And you guys, let me give you a little background on Johnette here. So we both have a lot of experience in direct sales, but Johnette's experience, like, you couldn't get better in my opinion. So she was with a company with Jennifer Harmon before. Here it is all again. Jennifer's here doing all the same steps. So who do I go for my advice on this? Johnette knows her stuff. So we're just really lucky to have you, Johnette. So that's really, really important to know. And I love that you stressed on that. The FTC just you can't post anything, because if they see it, that's really, really, really bad. So keep your list on a piece of paper at home. Stay in contact with these people. Make sure that you are keeping them up to date on everything that's happening. Like I said, you can add them to the opportunity group, because in there we talk about the opportunity, get them excited, and so hopefully that's understandable. If you guys have any questions on that, please let us know. So number one was, who do you know in Canada, whether they like lashes or not, male or female? Who do you know? Reach out to them, ask them who they know that likes lashes. Okay, it's just this like network that we need to kind of tap into, and then just ask them if they'd like to know information on it, or here's the link to get pre-registered. You could possibly become a founding affiliate. Have them blasted out there. Get people just starting to think about it, and let's just stay consistent with them, okay, on keeping them on everything there is to know about it.
And Mindy, share your go-to sentence for recruiting when you're going to message somebody, especially if you know somebody in Canada.
So it's, hey, Sally, have you heard about these awesome magnetic eyeliner and lashes yet? Boom, done. Leave it at that. You didn't ask them to join your team. You didn't ask them. You use the word yet, and it's super, super powerful. It's like, nobody likes to miss out on things, and using the word yet, it's like, no, like, what is this, and then they'll maybe go research it a little bit or whatever. And, if they come back with something, then it's like, no, tell me more. Then they're interested. Then it opens up the door to just tell them everything. So
throw an A in there since you're talking to Canadians. I love it, Katie.
All right, let me rephrase that. Hey,
hey there, A.
A, just every third word, A. I love that. Thank you. Okay, so number 2, join groups, okay? You want to join a community. What better way in today's world to go join a community is on Facebook, right? Let's all go search the Facebook groups, Canada Beauty groups. Once you get in there, it's a good idea to just provide value, okay? You're not in there to convince anybody right off the bat. It's just get there, be engaging, get to know people, make some friends, and then that's where that can just start to lead into those connections. So go ahead and find those groups and join them. Be consistent in them. And yeah, so then I had ask friends for referrals. So that goes back to who do you know and who do you know and who do you know, and just kind of get referrals that way. So if there's any other ideas that people have, be sure to drop them in the chat. And that was it that we had for Canada. Was there any questions that we need to answer before we move on?
Tia asked if the shipping will be free once we are there. No, unfortunately will not. As long as we are shipping out of the US, shipping will not be free. But Mindy, correct me if I'm wrong. Did they say shipping would be a little less?
I think so. Like they're going to be able to go through some type of loophole, or there was like a part of something that has to get charged that wasn't going to get charged, but yet there's still something. It's kind of what I understood.
And maybe it was the duties. I'm not sure.
Right.
So
more to come on that.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. All right. Again, if you guys have any ideas of what you could share with the team, we'd love, love, love to hear it. And yeah. All right. So up next is a follow-up on last week. Last week, we talked about the compensation plan. There was a few things that we talked about that we kind of were just like, well, we'll get back to you guys because we're not 100% sure. So
yeah, it's complex in some ways and easy in other ways. So last week we talked about the comp plan, the basics. If you did not join us last week for that, I would encourage you to go back and listen to that because it really covers the basic comp plan, everything that a new affiliate would want to know. What we're going to talk about today is comp plan's bonus structure that comes at leadership levels. So this is definitely something attainable. And depending on the person, it could happen this month. It could happen in a couple of months from now, later on down the road. But it's something great to understand because if you're like me, I'm excited and motivated about things like this. So I'm going to share on a piece of paper. Now, obviously, if you're watching the podcast, you can't see this. And I don't know how well you can even see this here on your screens, but hopefully I can, excuse me, explain it with words well enough that you wouldn't need to have the visual. So we're going to talk about is group pay, and that is something that comes into play when you hit leading influencer. So basically what it is an extra bonus percentage of your team that you are rewarded with at those leadership ranks. So on my paper at the very top, I wrote you, that is you, and underneath everything is your team. So we're gonna say that at this point, you have hit leading influencer. To be a leading influencer, it means that you have one influencer leg. We're just gonna ignore this for a second over here on the side. I have two showing, but we're just gonna focus on the one. So as a leading influencer, that means you have one influencer leg and you have 12,500 in team sales at least. That's the minimum that you have to have. What happens when you have when your team looks like this, you're going to make an additional percentage on this influencer leg in our bonus level 1. So Mindy, offhand, that's 2%, correct? Or is it 1% at least?
I'll go find it and then I'll do a screen share. So
okay, that would be fantastic. That would help. So you're going to get an additional percentage. So say this influencer leg, to be an influencer, you have to have 7,000 in team sales and 3 builder legs. But let's say this influencer, her team, she had a total team sales of $20,000. So you're going to get an additional percentage on top of all of your other commissions, an additional, I believe it's 1% of this $20,000. Okay, so that is a great little bonus. Now, as you rank up, as you receive more influencer legs, now we're going to say that you have 2 influencer legs. That would make you a senior influencer. You would receive commission off of this influencer leg or bonus group pay off of this influencer leg and this influencer leg. So you can see as you get influencer legs underneath you, the more commission you will make because of that bonus structure. Also, at leading influencer, you are eligible to not only get one level of group pay, but 2 levels of group pay. What that means is this influencer of yours, let's say she gets an influencer as well. And so now you have 2 generations of influencer. You would get 2% off of your first group and 1% off of your second level of influencer. Okay, are you with me? Hopefully so. Now, the tricky part about this is right now I've got this influencer leg. She's got 20,000 in team sales. Well, let's say the influencer under her has 10,000 in team sales. So how you break the percentage down is you would take this influencer's 10,000 and subtract 10,000 from this 20,000 and you're left with 10,000. So you're going to make 2% off of this 10,000 and then you'll get 1% off of this 10,000. Okay? Am I speaking your language? Hopefully so. Now, the benefit of having multiple influencer legs is that this is repeated for every influencer leg that you have. So if you have 7 influencer legs wide, you're going to get an additional bonus on every single influencer leg wide. So it benefits you to train your team to reach influencer. And we know as an influencer, you need 3 builder legs to become influencer with a total team sales of $7,000. A builder leg is one person or group of people that has a collective $1,000 in sales, and that's in one leg, okay? Hopefully that made sense. If that doesn't make sense, go back and watch last week's video because we do talk about influencer, what it takes to become an influencer, those legs, what do builder legs mean, all of those things. So I'm a visual person. Seeing it on paper helps me. Hopefully this helped you. Go back and watch it again if it didn't, or I just need to work on my presentation, how to explain it. But
I think it's perfect. But leading influencer for your G1 is 1%.
Okay.
Senior influencer, your G1's 2%.
2%.
2 is 1%. And then it just goes up from there.
Yeah.
So let's go, now that we've gone over this again, let's show you guys I'll share my screen here.
The comp plan.
Yes.
And then you can see at director, you get paid 3 levels deep. At executive director, you get 4 levels of group pay. Senior executive director, you get 5 levels of group pay. So that is all of the influencers up to 5 levels deep from you is what you're getting paid on. So it just keeps growing, and that's where those big checks start to come into play.
Right, and this is where we're talking again, so you guys get a visual. The group pay G1, G2, G3, G4, G5, okay? And it starts again at leading influencer right here. That's 1%, which Annette just explained here, G1. When you go up to senior influencer, which at that point you just have 2 influencer legs plus a builder leg, okay? You're getting a higher percentage here compared to up here. You guys see that percentage? This is your level pay. Level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. So it goes 5 levels deep. Then you're also on top of that getting generational bonuses, and that's the G1, G2. Now, when you're talking the 20,000, like Johnette's talking about, 2% of a number that big, then you're talking, that's really where it just starts to snowball. So super exciting stuff. Let that motivate you guys because it's doable. You can do it. You've just got to keep going, which brings us into the next thing that we want to talk about, which is the emotional cycle of sales, which we all go through. I don't care who you are. It happens. And it's just something that's just a circle that we're constantly going through. So how do we get through that? I'm going to get that up here real quick.
As we're talking about, or as she's finding that, there it is. Okay, so talking about the emotional cycles of sales, when we start, we're a new affiliate, we're excited, there's hope, positive energy, motivation, big goals, people believing in you. You're getting your kit, and there's just a lot of excitement around that, that new start. Okay, so, you reach out to your warm market and you're getting sales and it's exciting, and then maybe the next month, your warm market doesn't need new lashes quite yet. And so you get frustrated. You have challenges. You're like, oh, okay, so Sure, it was easy when I first started, but now I have to put a little bit of work in. And so you feel overwhelmed. You're not getting the bookings. People are canceling. You're not getting recruits. Maybe somebody had a return, which doesn't happen that often, but you never know. And then that leads to doubt. You lose confidence. You blame. I can't do it. I'm not good at this. And a lot of people get stuck in this spot. And then we shift over to creative avoidance. And that's when you start doing things like, I'm going to clean my closet, and I'm going to, just look for reasons not to work your business. You're too busy, but you give up on yourself. You make excuses, and that is just a dangerous place to be. But the exciting thing is you have those aha moments. You remember your why. Why did you join? Did you need some extra money to pay for dance lessons, to play for hockey, or to pay for hockey, to pay for books, college, whatever it is that you remember, you decide to keep going, and you gain that perspective in your business, you take action, and then you feel the excitement again, and you're back to the beginning. Ultimately, we want our goal to get through this emotional cycle of sales quickly. So it's going to happen. It's super normal. We just want to get through the cycle quickly to get us back to excitement. So, Mindy, you can tell us, what are some things that you do or that we need to do to get us from frustration, doubt, creative avoidance back into the recommitment phase quickly? And I'm talking a day or two. Give yourself a day of, it's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to be doubtful. It's okay to have creative avoidance a day. But how do we recommit? What are the steps that we need to do to get us back into excitement mode?
Okay, so for me, the first thing that comes to mind, and this is what I strive to do each and every day, is to stay consistent. Even if I'm on a high or if I'm on a low, I do those things each and every day that I'm supposed to be doing, okay? And that is posting to social media every day. Post something, even if it's just something that I haven't been on social media all day, I've had a busy day, like other things have gotten in the way, then I'll hop on real quick and I'll just reshare something. The first thing that I see that I like, I just reshare it. Or I start an engaging post. I ask a question. Whatever it is, even if it has nothing to do with business that day, which is actually good to do because you don't want to be all business. We teach the jab, 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 right hook method, which is 3 jabs, 1 right hook, 3 jabs, 1 right hook. Jabs are, hey, I just, my daughter went to dance today and this is how cute she was. Like, whatever. It's just something.
Check out the sale on pasta.
Exactly. Like, Victoria's Secret's having an awesome sale. One of my favorite stores. Be sure to go check it out. You're welcome. Just some fun things like that. And then the right hook is, really loving my lashes today. I'm a lover of ladies' night, like whatever it is, just to remind people that you're doing what you're doing, but yet staying connected with them, super, super, super important. And I can tell you guys, those doubt and creative avoidance days, it's hard to even do that. It's almost like you start to think like, maybe I need to take a break. Maybe I need to just, 3 or 4 days or even a week, like it might be good for me, but no, you've got to just keep that ball rolling and keep going. It comes back to that whole thing where like things in motion stay in motion. Things that stop, it's hard to get going again, okay? So just keep moving one foot in front of the other and the excitement will come around again. That the paycheck, everybody, payday, the 10th of every month, there's a lot of excitement and people are excited again and they're going out and they're recruiting and they're looking at like their next step of their next goals and what it's going to take to get there. And they know what they need to do and they're gung ho and they're going. And so it comes back around. So I just encourage you guys to not get stuck in the bottom there. And
I also add in there too, that for my personal business, what I like to do is front load my month, which means I work hard at the beginning of the month so that I know at the end of the month, I'm not stressed trying to either reach sales goals that I want or team sales goals, or I'm not worried. So what I see happen a lot of times is people work so hard at the end of the month. They're like, I gotta hustle. I gotta reach this goal. And then the beginning of the month, they don't do anything because they're burnt out or they're spent. It was that exhaustion of the end of the month. I try to reverse it because it just keeps me less stressed, and this emotional cycle of sales just feel it's not so harsh, I think, or it doesn't take me down so hard.
Right.
I think that just helps me.
Yep. And then scheduling yourself out too, like the whole, where does it say that? Like bookings and that, find events.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing more motivating than putting money into an event. And it's like, well, I got to do this. And if you're in that doubt and creative avoidance stage and your event's coming up, it's going to get you back into the excitement. You're going to leave that event excited and just ready to go and have a cold market that you've just reached out to. So anyway, that's another idea that just came to mind. Jeanette put me on the spot, hopefully.
No, it's great.
Okay. Well, are there any other questions before we're done here that we need to answer?
I don't think so. I'm not seeing any. There will be a replay, or it is recorded, Claire, so don't worry about that. And Megan, you just went back to lifting weights. Good for you.
Love that.
And I know you can barely walk. Oh, been there. Good for you for getting back in, and consistency is key. Okay. This flyer is actually the emotional cycle of sales, Megan. This is actually on our team page, which is the highlight reel.
You can see it right there.
Right up at the top. So Anna Hone is my upline, and it's the team page that I use as well. And so you are welcome to be in that group. It's fantastic. Everybody learns differently. So we have created multiple groups and ways to learn so that everybody gets what they need. So you can go ahead and request to join this group and we'll get you in.
Okay, well, thanks everyone. This has been so great. We'll see you next week. And be sure to let your team members know to hop on these Zooms, and we'll keep going with this. This is super exciting.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.